Black Panther, y'all. Y'all already know what it is. We got the brother Willie D, a legend in the game, rapper from Texas, been putting it down for years, decades, in fact. So, they blocked and then subsequently shut down his whole YouTube channel, Willie D Live, because of a post involving Maxine Waters, who is a black representative of the people professionally within the political environment realm. And she's been really being honest and speaking out, and one of the only voices for the people that we have against the Trump administration. So Willie D, made a post, trying to promote on his platform, the black excellence, of one of the only few, if not the only, how can I put this? Maxine Waters is a queen that represents the culture and the people and stays true to the game. So I'm not going to talk your ear off. Let's go ahead and see this and how it unfolds. This is the press release, and he's suing YouTube and Google for blocking his account for racism and censorship.
I am attorney Vonnie Dons III, and I represent Mr. Willie Dennis, professionally known as Willie D. On July 26, 2018, as many of you may well know, Mr. Dennis's YouTube account was wrongfully terminated by members of the YouTube team and Google. Preceding the termination of his YouTube channel, Mr. Dennis was an avid YouTube creator. He created and uploaded video content to his YouTube channel, Willie D Live, on a regular basis. YouTube notified Mr. Dennis that his YouTube account had been terminated as a result of receiving his third community guideline strike within a 3-month period. Following YouTube's notification, Mr. Dennis's account was terminated and rendered permanently inaccessible. Mr. Dennis subsequently appealed YouTube's decision, and Mr. Dennis's appeal, unfortunately and wrongfully, was denied. Mr. Dennis believes YouTube unfairly and unjustly determined that his video content violated community guidelines, namely YouTube's hate speech policy and spam policy. Let it be clear, Mr. Dennis vehemently denies promoting violence against or inciting hatred against any individuals or groups based on race, religion, ethnic origin, national origin, gender, disability, sexual orientation, or gender identity on his YouTube channel. In fact, Mr. Dennis exemplifies the exact opposite of hate and prides himself on being a voice of the people, by the people, and for the people. Especially for those who do not have the platform to vocalize their discontent with censorship, discrimination, injustice, and bigotry. Is he a voice of dissent? Yes. Is he a voice for public change and political change? Yes. Is he a voice for social change? Yes. Is he a voice for hate? Absolutely not. He is also a voice for a countless number of other black YouTubers who have been victimized by YouTube and Google's action to restrict access to their material and content in bad faith, in a discriminatory manner, in breach of agreement, and against good faith and fair dealings. In addition, YouTube's negligence and interference with business relationships should not go unchecked. As stated in YouTube's hate speech policy, it is, and I quote, okay to criticize speech that is racism and hate speech, in which Mr. Dennis did in the Maxine Waters video. And not all speech that can be perceived as mean or insulting is hate speech, which may include anti-establishment rhetoric. In America, there is a such thing as free speech. Mr. Dennis believes YouTube is violating its own policy and not adhering to the terms of service and community guidelines by falsely and wrongfully labeling his video content hate speech. Mr. Dennis strongly feels he is being discriminated against based on his race and his social and political speech, and that such censorship should not be permitted under the law. YouTube clearly and demonstrably censors political and social postings and targets liberal and black YouTube channels and storefronts. As a result, Mr. Dennis is calling for a change in legal policy and is calling for Congress to regard YouTube and websites like it places of public accommodation, such that civil rights laws apply to them. Mr. Dennis is demanding a sit-down with Google and YouTube executives to write the wrongful termination of his YouTube channel and compensate him for his financial loss and monetary damages. If YouTube refuses to do so, Mr. Dennis is prepared to move forward with a civil lawsuit against Google and YouTube. At this time, I would like to call community activist Mr. Derek Muhammad to the podium to make a statement.
Thank you, my brother. Peace and blessings, family. I stand here in defense of our brother Willie D and all other black YouTube content providers, and not just black content providers, but those content providers who are not afraid to put out there and post unadulterated truth. There's a saying that says that he who controls the diameter of your thinking also controls the circumference of your activity. When we look at our youth and we see that which we could perceive to be ignorant activity, it is only because they consumed ignorant information. So the oppressed in this country have always had a hard time producing strong voices in the media. Because when you step out as a strong voice for your community, it's only a matter of time before you are attacked. To speak for the least, the last, and the lost, and the oppressed in this country is a risk. And our brother Willie D is one of many who's taken that risk through the content that he puts out on his YouTube channels and all of the other media platforms that he has authority over. The word that we have to use here that would be most appropriate is censorship. It's censorship. And for many years, we complained about ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox News, and all of these other national platforms who we believe was given to us censored information. Well, guess what? We now live in a day and time where platforms like YouTube are becoming just as guilty, and we know it. So, as a community, we stand behind Willie D. And we say, give this man and other black YouTubers free reign to give us unadulterated truth, because that's the only thing that's going to make our activity better in our community. So no censorship. And the other thing I want to say is, how can you, from a cultural standpoint, YouTube, make a fair and unbiased judgment about the content put out by black YouTubers for the black community when you yourself have a dearth of black talent in your employee pool in the first place? Your diversity, which if we were to put it over here, and if we were to put your user base over here, we believe that black people who subscribe to YouTube channels deserve better. We deserve more. So again, on behalf of our community, we stand behind Willie D Live and all other black YouTubers, and the message to other black YouTubers, just as Willie D is taking a stand, take a stand. And if you don't have the testicular fortitude to do it on your own, just simply share this video and get behind the brother who's standing up for you. In this country, we have a real concern about this becoming a police state. But before they're able to control you in the streets, they have to control the information that is fed to you through platforms like YouTube. When they can no longer fool you, they can no longer rule you. And when you shut down channels like Willie D Live, then that's just another way that you try to fool us by controlling the information that comes into our communities. Thank you. Oh, excuse me. All right, excuse me. At this time, we want to bring before you Brother Willie D. He needs no introduction.
Thank you, Derek. First off, I want to thank everybody for coming out under these adverse weather conditions. I want to thank my brothers for standing with me right here. They've always stood with me. Derek Muhammad, Bonnie Dones, soldiers in the war for free speech, freedom of.
I'm currently making between $20,000 and $30,000 a month. I've been doing this
That's
for
nice.
Of expression. YouTube, like Google, prides themselves off of free speech, allowing people to speak freely about issues that concern them. However, when you look at their practices are contrary to what their so-called mission statement is.
Right.
I want Google to know, YouTube to know, and all of those other platforms out there to know that truth is not hate speech. It's important to know that I'm not standing by myself in this. There's a lot of other YouTubers who are having the same problem with Google and YouTube. It's no secret that they're being targeted. YouTube's discriminatory practices have not just made me a victim, but it's made countless victims who don't really have the voice that I have. And I'm gonna speak for them right now. And so allow me to put this into just precise context. There are dozens of other black content providers on YouTube who has been harassed by YouTube with multiple strikes against their accounts, with many being terminated for simply reporting the news truthfully without a hidden agenda. Many of those channels are informative and promotes an objective to uplift the black community. Yet, they are constant targets of YouTube's biased, unethical mistreatment, which any reasonable person could only surmise is an attempt to control their message or run them off the platform. I first received a strike against Willie D Live from YouTube's violation community on April 17, 2017. The problem with their assessment is that the video I posted was a national news story shared by thousands of other YouTube subscribers and content providers, including Fox News, CNN, ABC, NBC, CBS, and others. So what's the difference? YouTube has allowed and continues to allow a number of non-black YouTubers to share hate speech and to get away with posting videos of murder, blood, pornography, and other despicable acts, none which can be found on Willie D Live. But they're allowed to keep their channels and mine gets terminated. Why would YouTube do that? It's simple. Racism, America's Achilles heel. YouTube claims to encourage freedom of speech and defend everyone's right to express their point of view, even if unpopular. But the truth is, Google owns YouTube, and with only 2.5% of their workforce being black, YouTube's employment diversity is disproportionate to its user base. So not only do we well-meaning content providers have to worry about being false flagged by trolls, but black content providers in particular, such as myself, are at a high risk of being targeted by employees who may not agree with our message because they don't share our unique experience in America. The vast majority of YouTube videos are uploaded by content providers. So I say to YouTube and Google, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Truth is not hate speech. Thank you.
At this time, we want to open up the floor.
I'm gonna end it right there, only because I don't want to make it too long. We got the gist of it, but Willie D is true soldier in the fight, man. True soldier in the fight, you know. And he invited his comrades, you know, at a point where, you know, this is gonna be an issue. This is gonna be an issue. This is the first time that the mainstream people are hearing of that somebody standing up in this black excellence era, you know, up against some of the greats as far as, you know, industry people and, you know, YouTube CEOs and Google CEOs. You know, they're gonna have this is a chess move where we gotta apply pressure. We have to, just to see what they're even gonna formulate as a defense. We have to apply pressure. So at the end of the day, this is chess, not checkers, man. You know, Black Panther, subscribe, like, engage, people. I'm gone.